guys, we're gonna get started here. So welcome to Strip by Sia. I am Sia. This is my podcast. I'm so excited to have our next guest on the show today. We have a lovely cam girl here by the name of Shae Cutie, who is going to break things down for us in terms of everything to do with camming, because I'm honestly super curious about this. I've kind of wondered and dabbled about this whole idea about camming and whatnot, because it just seems super accessible and fun. And we have had a ton of people ask questions, which we will get into later at the end of the show. But without further ado, we shall introduce you, Miss Shae Cutie. Say hello.
Hi. Hi, thanks for having me.
Yay, so excited to have you on the show. Can you tell me a little bit about yourself, who you are, in your own terms?
Yeah. I'm 31 and recent cam girl as of February of this year.
Oh, wow.
And
that's really recent.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
And I think that's all I'll share about me, because I keep most of my personal life, family and stuff, private. Although I'll say my fans do know that I'm married and that we are in an open marriage, and they love to hear about those stories. So. And
I definitely, and everyone else I'm sure will want to be hearing those stories as well.
Yeah.
Because I'm just meeting you for the first time right now. We literally just met in my lobby. You're in my house. We're chatting in my living room. I'm so excited to get into things. So, okay, so camming, you've started just this year in February.
Yeah.
How did that whole thing unfold? How do you even get into camming? You're just okay, I'm just gonna start camming.
No, I for sure had a judgment on girls that did it, just like any sex work though, but secret fantasies of doing it myself, because it just seemed like easy money, and I like sex and being sexual and talking about it, doing it, and just feeling sexy. And yeah, when there's lots of eyes looking at you, I feel good about myself. So, sorry, what was your question again?
How did you get into it?
Oh, how did I get into it?
Story?
Okay, yeah. So a girlfriend of mine is a camming model as well. I won't share her name, but she told me that she made 30 grand in 1 month.
What?
And I was
oh my God.
I want to try and do anything that makes 30 grand in 1 month. And so the judgment kind of slipped away, and I got a little more curious, and I asked my husband what he would think of me doing it, and he was like, yeah, I think that's cool. And I was really surprised by that.
That's awesome.
I just got a webcam. Yeah, started the next day.
What? Okay,
yeah.
So that's pretty simple. So again, with any kind of sort of sex work, with strippers, you have to get the costumes, you have to get the heels, all the stuff. With camming, you literally just need a webcam and you're good to go.
Yeah, and they really do prefer the girl next door look. So you don't need the lingerie. In fact, I make more money when I wear what I'm wearing now, which is jeans and a t-shirt.
Wow. Okay, that's really interesting. So I guess there is a certain type of look in terms of being a cam girl.
Yeah, or at least that works for me.
Right.
There is lots of different looks on this site, and so many different body types, and they don't have anyone who's trans, which I think I would rather they did. I think that's kind of cool. But they have so many different types of girls, so you can really go and find your type. And
so it's like when you're surfing through porn or something.
Yeah.
It's just there's literally something for everybody.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow, it's so interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, so wait, scroll back. So you said you're married.
Yeah.
And your husband is okay with this.
Yeah.
That is so freaking cool. And you're in an open relationship.
Yeah, or
that's awesome.
We just we don't date other people, but we have sex with other people. So,
which I think is super healthy and super freaking awesome, and more people need to do that, because monogamy is not healthy, guys. It's just not natural. Anyways, so you kind of pass this idea by him, and you're hey, and you're probably feeling all self-conscious, oh, I don't know, he's gonna take this in the right way, but he was totally okay with it. Did he have any questions for you or anything like that, or he was just just go for it?
Yeah, no, he was no, that's kind of hot, and do you mind
awesome.
if I watch sometimes? And I like it when he watches. That's hot. And
that's super hot.
They like that. He can't be on cam. There's a strict no dick policy on this website.
Oh.
But I can be oh, my husband's watching, and I just tell them that, and they just pay me to just know that. It's the weirdest. They pay for the weirdest things.
You could be lying about that. You're he's not not actually there, but I'll build up that fantasy for you.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah. It's all about fantasy, and they think that's why so many people like camming being the viewer, is because sometimes actually acting out a fantasy, you find out like, oh, I don't really like that, or it's too scary, right?
Right.
And so if they're into a certain type of kink that they might think have judgment, I think it's easier to do it on the internet. I can see them if I charge them money to open their cam, but most are I can't see, right? And they're just so anonymous, and I think that feels safe for them.
Totally, yeah. It's almost, well, you literally have a barrier between, like, you're hiding behind a screen, so it does feel safe, right?
Yeah.
So that's really cool. So who is your audience mainly? Can you see what kind of demographic you have, or is it just usernames and you don't even know who they are?
I can see who they are if they have a webcam and if they tell me to open it, and I charge money to open their cam.
Oh, wow.
But there's so many. There's like young kids, there's old men, there's like really attractive people, there's girls. Not a lot of girls, but some.
But mostly men.
Yeah, mostly men.
Interesting.
And some married, some not. Some are swingers as well, and they just do that as well. Some, I think, would see an escort, but maybe don't have the money. And so this is kind of like that to them. Like the girlfriend experience kind of thing.
Right, yes. The girlfriend experience is a real thing. It's definitely a real thing.
And they like the internet girlfriend experience. And so that's something that I do as well, is like if they want to meet me on the site, we might meet there, but like we might build a relationship on Snapchat or WhatsApp or Kik, like one of the apps. Basically, they're like an online sugar daddy. So like we met on the website, but now we have this relationship outside of it where it's online only dating, I guess, you know?
That is so freaking cool.
Yeah.
I have never been on a cam site before, so I have no idea what to expect. So when you log on, can you kind of describe it? Is it just what I'm kind of thinking? So it's a screen, you can see whoever you're watching.
Yeah.
Is there like a chat box, and you can see kind of who's popping up and who's liking or who's tipping? I'm not sure how that works.
Yeah, you can see, when you go on the website first, you see all of the women that you can go in their chat room, and you can get on that front page by basically making a lot of tokens, or by they're called tokens, like it's not in dollar amount. You got to be really popular by making a lot of tokens, or there's like a weird algorithm that makes you get on that front first page. And so if I think too much about like how to get on that page, or we have this thing called a cam score, which is calculated by the amount of tokens that we make for how long we're online. And like some models get really wrapped up in their cam score, and I don't know, I just try not to think about it too much, because as long as I'm getting paid, I don't care if
then you're winning.
Yeah,
right?
I don't care about my cam score, yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's so cool. So, like, how does one get started in this? Because I know you did it because you're obviously very comfortable with your sexuality, and it's something that you were kind of curious you wanted to do and stuff. Like, first of all, like, how did you get over that kind of, like, judgmentalness? Because, you know, a lot of people would be like, oh, like, you took it for clothes for money and whatnot for strangers. Like, why would you want to do that? Is a lot of backlash that I always get in general, like, because I'm a stripper. So, how do you kind of overcome that? And, like, what are your steps in terms of like getting set up for this?
Yeah. Well, in terms of the judgment, I don't know. I've lost a couple friends like recently that said they can't be friends with me if I'm doing this, and I just feel like that's so unfortunate, because I have way more to talk about than that, and it's like not who I am. I don't think I'll do it forever, and I just feel like that sucks. But I also feel like those type of friends, they leave eventually for some other reason, right? So I don't need friends like that. And then for the judgmental piece on my own, I've always wanted to do sex work in some way. Just, fantasize about it.
It's so hot.
Like I used to watch porn of like sex workers just doing, because it's like the naughtiness, maybe if it was so mainstream and didn't have that like naughty connotation with it, maybe it would be less fun. I don't know.
I kind of like, I don't know, like a big like rush, I guess, that comes with it as well.
Yeah.
Because I guess like with my story, I'm a stripper. I don't strip that much because I work corporate. But basically, pole dance instructor. I've taken classes, I've done competitions and stuff. And I was like, well, like, you know, I have the skills. I can just like take off my clothes and make money doing it. So I was like, why not do that? And I've always like kind of fantasized about that too, because it just seems like a cool fantasy. Like it just sounds super, super sexy and super hot and stuff. And then
and, like, do you find sometimes like you turn yourself on?
Totally,
like,
absolutely.
I'm always looking at myself in the webcam. You can see what you look like, and I'm just like looking at my butt. Damn. Like, So mostly I'm not even paying attention to what they're doing, and they're sometimes like really weird looking dicks or something if they show me their cam. I'm just looking at myself, and it's like a huge confidence booster. Like
Absolutely.
I've never really looked at myself for that many hours of the day and been paid and complimented, and so my confidence is different than it was before I started this.
Totally. Sounds like a huge like ego boost.
Yeah. And I mean, they're just a bunch of people that are telling you how pretty and beautiful and nice and stuff you are, and a lot of it's not even about sex. It's about talking, or sometimes they don't want me to take my clothes off.
Yeah.
I don't get it. But yeah.
That's so interesting. So like, is there, I guess you have like a public one where like a whole bunch of people can come in and watch.
Yeah.
Do you also offer private as well? Like obviously for compensation.
Yeah, the website has that set up already. So you enter the models chat room, that's what they're called, like cam models, and then you can request to go private, or you can request a group show. Those are set amount of tokens for each. So private is 60 tokens per minute, and then true private, which means no one else can like come in and spy on that show, is 80 tokens per minute, and then group show is 10 or something like that. And they can tip in that show too, but it's kind of like up to each model how she wants to do it. Some models on this site and others don't do anything sexual. They like play cards or something.
Oh wow.
People pay
well,
them
sometimes
for that.
that's what they want to see or something, right?
Yeah, they just want to see like a naked girl playing cards, or sometimes they don't even get naked. So
that's so interesting.
I don't know about that. I'm into like the sex stuff, and I think I'm finding that that's why I have a lot of people interested, is because a lot of people on the website aren't doing sex stuff, and I think that's what guys are looking for.
Oh, interesting.
Or at least the guys that
right.
And yeah, so once you come in the chat room, you can like request to go private. I also Skype with people in exchange for tokens or PayPal.
That's awesome. Yay, PayPal.
Yeah.
So great.
I know. That's like my new line, is just like PayPal me first, then
always
we'll talk. They're always about the like, but aren't we friends? Or oh my god, the lines.
I mean, we started on that.
Yeah.
So I used to also be a sugar baby as well too, and there's so many like fake people out there, and I'm just like, money or nothing. Okay.
I think some of them must get off on like talking about how much money they're going to give you.
Totally.
Because some of them talk a lot about the amount of money that they will give me one day, and it's like, start giving me this money then.
Yeah,
like,
is this ever going to materialize? If not, this conversation is over.
Yeah, because I think you're jerking off right now to talking about giving me money.
And speaking of jerking off, so when you said you could kind of see them as well, if you choose to open their cams for compensation, are they always jacking off, or what are they doing? No.
Sometimes they're just standing there, sitting there. Sometimes they're jacking off. Sometimes they don't want to be seen like their face, so sometimes the webcam is just on their dick. And so if they have to me, a beautiful dick, I don't know why they would put the camera right on their big old dick, but they do. And then I go,
oh, it's turning me on so much.
But some of them, like the penis humiliation, like that's a thing that I didn't know was a thing.
It's a total
small
thing.
Penis humiliation. And some of them like jerk off instruction, which is just the weirdest thing, because
wait, what?
What do I know about jerking off?
I don't have a penis.
Yeah, I don't know. So it's like they get turned on by me telling them what to do. But I just find that intimidating, because I don't know what feels good.
Yeah.
So I'm like,
it's your
stroke
dick.
it harder or longer, but like, what if you don't like that? I don't know.
That's so interesting.
Yeah.
So like, what kind of requests do you usually get? So obviously you get these kind of requests, I guess, instructional, tell me what to do kind of things. But do a lot of people ask you to do certain things? Like, oh, like, can you wear this, or can you take off this, or what do they typically ask you?
Most of them just want to see me masturbate and use certain toys, role play. There's a lot of particular kinks. Like just last night, I did a private show with a guy who says he's an amputee. I don't know if he is. And he wanted me to act as an amputee because he finds that sexy.
What?
So
how do you even do that?
You put your leg bent through one of your leg holes, and then you let the other leg hole dangle, and then I had to show the leg hole dangling on cam to be like, there was so much talking about stumps and coming on my stump. He's like, come on my stump, and I'm like, yeah, let's rub our stumps together. And yeah, that was a new one.
That is, I've never heard of that.
And what he said, I mean, I don't know if it's true, but that he is an amputee and finds it hot when hot women are amputees, and his wife won't do this role play, so he's looking for that elsewhere, and I'm happy to help him with that.
Absolutely. And I didn't get paid for it, so it's great.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So a lot to do with this job in terms of camming has to do with role play.
Yeah.
So was it hard for you to kind of get that started? I mean, you have to have a really big imagination.
No, I have a pretty good one, and I like role play anyways in my sex life.
Mm-hmm.
So, and it's like something my husband's not super into, so it's kind of fun because it feels like I get to get that part of sex that I need from these guys. So it's really like a win-win because I'm having fun, but I'm being paid, and
Hey, all the things.
Yeah.
Was it really hard for you to kind of role play or play out certain roles for people? I mean, like, for example, the amputee one you just told me, like, it just sounds, first of all, it just sounds silly, but of course you have to respect these people's kinks and their own fetishes and stuff too, right? And like, if that's what's going to get them off, that's what's going to get them off. But I'm sure you must have heard of some really bizarre ones to really, it must be super hard to kind of like get into character and for it to actually look and I guess feel like you're doing it justice, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah, and it's like, I just like to be my authentic self. So sometimes I will have agreed to something and I just like can't follow through. Like, one time my husband has Skyped with me sometimes before, like people will pay for like a boy-girl Skype, so they want to see us have sex, and we were going to have anal and it just like wasn't working. It just wasn't feeling good.
Feeling it, yeah.
And so I just said, like, we're not going to do that. But he already paid for it. So they do run the risk sometimes of, like, it's my body. And if it's just not working, like, and I can't give you, like, a refund anal. Like, there's no, like, next time anal. Like, it's just, like, it's just, if you're going to pay, you know that I'm a person. And I wouldn't just not have sex altogether if they paid, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it was, like, that's just not on the table anymore. And they were, you know, people are cool with that. So.
Yeah. Do people ever get, like, upset when you can't do something or, like, hey, you said you're going to do this and you didn't deliver and whatnot? Have people ever like threatened you, or is there any kind of safety thing? Like how are the chat rooms moderated in some way?
They are, and you can like report people or ban them really easily. You just click ban or ignore, or you can like kick them out of your room. And then some of them are like, they must get off on the banning, or they're just obsessed with a certain cam girl that you can even like pay you to be unbanned. So sometimes some guy is super into me banning, I'll just ban him all the time, and he pays me to unban him. I don't get it. But
that's so interesting.
There's never been like really a scary time. Like one time I was supposed to get a PayPal from someone for him to have my Snapchat, and he must have sent me a fake PayPal or something because it didn't go through, and he was like sending me pictures saying, look, it says sent. And I'm like, yeah, I didn't get anything though. And I just know that I'm in the right here. Like, I'm not going to try and jerk you around because it's my business. Why would I try and jerk you around? Right. I'm trying to make money. So I just knew at that point, like, no, you're lying.
You're full of shit.
He stopped because he knew he was lying. So
yeah, because I think they'll probably just try to like send you a screenshot or something. I'm like, well, that's clearly been doctored. Yeah. Like, I don't see any money in my account, so you didn't send it. Yeah. So try again.
And they're always like, oh, like, you fucked me over, you know, you don't, like, you're just trying to get my money. It's like, but then you're obviously going to go in my chat room and say this thing. And if that was really true, if I just charged people and then ditched, I wouldn't have a successful business. So I'm not trying to do that.
Oh my gosh. Well, some people, right?
Yeah.
You mentioned earlier in terms of there are a couple of rules. So you said no dicks allowed. So this is only for cam girls. I know there are some sites that offer like cam guys and stuff too.
There's some that, I mean, there's some like Chatterbait and others that are couples or trans, or this one is like strictly girls, although guys can be in like a pre-recorded video. So I have my husband in some pre-recorded videos and they can purchase those videos. Oh. But he just can't be on the live cam.
I see. Yeah. Oh, that's interesting. Wow, this is super fascinating. I'm so interested in all of this. So cool. Yeah. Because I started with my own OnlyFans. I started selling some custom videos and stuff too. It's so hard sometimes to try to like, because I'm sure you make like videos and stuff yourself too. Yeah. Try to get a good angle, like how, do you have any advice on that? Some tricks and tips?
I have figured out a particularly good angle to make my butt look a lot bigger than it is. And like just rounder than it is, but no, I haven't figured out some. I mostly lay on my back and put the cam like basically facing my pussy. Can I say that?
Yeah, of course, you can say whatever you want
okay.
here.
And then I just lay down and they like that view. And it's like, I don't even need to shave anything. What I thought was going to be sexy to them is not.
It's not
like,
what they want.
If I wear a lot of makeup, even with the makeup that I'm wearing now, which is not that much, sometimes they're like, that's too much makeup, or they really like the natural, like...
Yeah, girl next door look and stuff. And
I think that, and I do it in my bed too, and I think that they like that they feel like they're in my bed. With me, like we're just rolling around together having fun or something.
Again, like the girlfriend experience, because
they
love
that.
You're not like if they're really dating someone like that in real life, like that being like dolled up in makeup is probably not what their type is, and that's probably not what turns them on too. So like when you first started, were you like dressing up more and like had a shit ton of makeup on as well?
No, I've just noticed that on days when I do myself up more or wear lingerie that I make less money. So. But the cam girl friend that I had, she gave me the tip of like they like the girl next door look, so go for that.
Interesting. And she's on the same website as you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well, like I guess it really does cater to like a certain type and stuff as well. That's really cool.
Yeah.
What other advice can you give people that are kind of like first starting out? Because obviously, like, how did you kind of gain traction and stuff? Because of course, when you're first starting out, are you going to see many people going in if you're not going to be in the front page of that website?
Well, your first week on this particular website, which is MyFreeCams, you get 1 week of being the new girl, and any new girl is on the first page.
Oh, okay.
So you have 1 week of being on the first page, and so if you go on every day of that week at the same time every day, because you're going to have like returning people that get off work at a certain time and they go on at a certain time, right? So they're going to look for you if they like you. I did that for my first week and that probably helped, but like it's been a really slow summer. Like sometimes there's 2 people in my chat room, but if one of those person wants to book a Skype show for $100 for 20 minutes, then that's kind of, I'm also like kind of lazy, so I'm gonna like, that's good. I'm good. I don't need
money.
I'm like, I don't need any more.
Wow. Okay, so MyFreeCams is the website that you use. I know there's so many different sites out there. How did you choose to use that particular website?
That's just the one that girlfriend I had used, and so I just kind of went with that.
And are you on other sites as well, or just MyFreeCams?
Chatterbait as well with my husband.
Oh, okay, gotcha. For the whole couples thing.
Yeah.
Cool. Oh my gosh.
Although I really prefer it to do it on my own. It's hard to display chemistry with somebody, and I don't know, I find I'm not actually good at it with him.
Interesting.
Or like I get annoyed and that comes through and they can tell I'm irritated, or I don't know.
Or do you think that you're trying to like maybe force things a bit more?
Yeah, or also I find
to play it up.
when I'm by myself, I can just like lay there and like sometimes they're just talking and not tipping, or sometimes they're not talking. Like the most annoying thing is like they're not talking to me in the chat room. No one's sending messages and no one's tipping, but they're just, you can see them in the chat room and you're like, hi, and they don't say hi. That's just the most annoying thing, because then I just go on my phone, but I don't want to feel like antisocial, or they're thinking, why would I pay her if she's doing that?
Right.
But I can only roll around and bounce my ass for so long before it's like, pay me.
So someone tip me, please.
Yeah. So I find it's harder to do it on my own in that respect, but
right. And like every time you go on, so I know you mentioned consistency is one thing. What about like how long do you go on for? Is it like a couple hours, an hour, or how does that work?
About a couple hours each time, like minimum 1 or 2. And it's not like I'm masturbating that entire time.
Yeah, I was like, oh my God, I'm so tired.
Yeah. If I keep my clothes on longer, I make more money, because like they like the tease.
The tease, yeah, absolutely.
And so if I get online right away in underwear, like I don't make as much money because they're trying to take my clothes off, and so I'll wear like my normal clothes, and yeah, time goes by really fast, and before I know it, it's been like 2-3 hours, sometimes 4 or 5, but that's when I'm just making good money, and so the time goes by fast, and then I don't realize it's been 5 hours, and that's like, it's weird to make like $600 in a couple hours, and then the next day you make like $5, right? And you spend the same amount of time, and so it's really like it's
super up and down,
not reliable, and so it's not our main source of income for that reason.
But it's extra money.
Yeah, no, it's awesome. It's just like I couldn't do it. I don't think as a main career because of how how unstable it is.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. In terms of members, do they need to pay to watch the girls, like to become a member? No, it's free.
Yeah, so you don't want to like give it all away in the public show without tips, because anyone can watch. Like even a guest, like they don't even have to sign up. So like we could go online right now and we'd be a guest and you can watch any model's chat room
for free.
But, yeah, she will usually only do certain stuff for tips, but then if one guy is tipping and you're just watching for free, you might get a free show. That's why it's frustrating sometimes when like one person's tipping and the rest aren't, and they're just getting a free show.
Yeah, that's so hard.
But they pay into like an account, and that's how they use their tokens. It's like they don't have to pay to be a member or to use the website.
Right.
They just have to like they put money, I guess, on their credit card and then put it into their account, and then they can give you tokens with those money. And one token is, I get 5 cents from one token. So that's why when they give me a 25 token tip, I'm like, okay, a couple dollars, thank you.
Right. Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Okay, that's interesting. Because I was going to ask like how the token thing would translate to like monetary value.
Yeah, I get 5 cents, and then they, the website makes money, so they must double that in dollar amount.
Totally.
Yeah, and sometimes I'm like calculating on my phone like the math. They're like, will you take off your top for 200 tokens? And I'm like, wait a second, will I? Like, I do the math.
You're like, wait a minute, is it worth it?
It's worth it, yeah.
For you to make it kind of like, I guess, worth it, how much ideally would you like to make per show? If I can call it per show. What would make it worth it?
I don't know. It really depends on the day. Like today I went online and I made nothing. I made 100 tokens. A couple days ago I made 5,000 tokens.
What?
And that guy was just the weirdest guy. He wasn't saying, he brought me into a private, so that's 60 tokens a minute.
Right.
And then tipped me 2,000 tokens just because. But he wasn't saying anything in the chat, and I couldn't see his cam. So I found that super difficult, and I think it's an anomaly that happens because I couldn't figure out how to keep him like in there, or keep tipping me, or then he just left the chat and private ended, and I couldn't figure out like what did I do wrong, what did I do right.
Yeah, well, because you can't gauge.
Yeah,
just like, can I get some things to know that you are interested in this? You know, give me something to work with.
So that is the hard thing, is like, with doing live sex work of some sort, like a stripper or something, people are sometimes giving you feedback, like visually.
Yeah, or like,
smile or
cheering
something.
Or something. And of course the tip.
Yeah, but when you can't see them, you do have to just like keep that on your mind and just keep going and just keep rolling around, basically. So you have to be a good actress. Like, I have to act,
Definitely. It's
like
all
I'm still in the mood an hour later after like no tips.
Yeah, because you have to try to keep yourself like motivated, right?
Yeah.
To keep going and stuff. That can be incredibly difficult too, because I feel like, a lot of people I think a lot of people are interested in camming and would try it, but would get discouraged pretty easily.
Yeah. Well, I would recommend no one to try it in summer, because like people, I just really noticed like on average there was just like 10 less people in my room every day, even on like a Saturday night at night, which is a busy night. Summer just seems like a time when people are going outside and not online. Yeah, I think that new girl status on MyFreeCams, so you get on the front page for a week, and if you go on the same time every day, everybody has a particular something that someone out there wants, right? And like their type. And I think for how many users there are of the website, I think there's going to be tons of guys that will like whatever girl tries it,
Wow. That's so cool. Like, it's because I always see MyFreeCams at like the Taboo, one of the shows that like tours around. They're always like looking for new people and stuff too. Is that like how your friend got started with it too, or like you have no idea?
I don't know how she got started with it, and I don't know. I didn't ask her. I don't know if I would go to one of those, because like I don't really want publicity a lot associated with my face, because like the stigma of sex work means that my family doesn't know, and if they found out, oh god, they would just judge me,
Yeah, same with mine too.
And like my mom found out that my husband and I had an open marriage a while ago, and she just responded so differently than I thought. I thought she's like a super hippie lady. I thought she'd be like, yeah, whatever works for you, but she was very like, your body is sacred and it's only for one man, and I just think that's like so archaic, because that's not what works for me or him. And so that really let me believe that she would not be okay with camming. And so I was thinking about it. It's weird to have a job that you have to keep secret, and like whatever success I get, I have to keep it secret. And I I have to lie. I mean, she's already asked me, like, how are you making all this money? And I have to lie. It's weird.
It's very challenging, too, like, because there is so much stigma with that and so much shame that comes with sex work in general. It doesn't matter what you do.
Yeah.
It's really hard. You can't celebrate those big wins. You
Yeah.
can't be super outlandish with your money and stuff, too. Like, it's just, you can't really share that with, you know, people you would want to share it with.
Yeah.
And that makes it really, really challenging, too.
Yeah.
So does anybody know that you're camming except for your husband or, like, and your friends?
Yeah, like some close friends and stuff. But since losing a few friends regarding being a cam girl, I've been a bit more cautious as to who I tell. Like, sometimes I'm naive in thinking that, like, whatever information I have to share, people are just going to be like, oh, cool, that works for you. That doesn't always happen. A lot of times people really feel the need to tell you their opinion, and sometimes it's hurtful. And, like, I don't want to know people's opinion if it's that they don't approve, because why don't you just say nothing?
Yeah.
So I've learned to, like, not tell that many people now.
Right.
But it's hard because it is a big part of my life. Like, sometimes I do it 2 hours in the afternoon and 2 hours at night. And so it feels like sometimes I've done it all day. So when someone says, what did you do today? And I can't tell them, I feel like, I don't know. I don't know how to answer that. You know?
And like, it doesn't feel nice when you have to hide things from people either. And plus, it's just like a lot of work too. Like, honestly, I guess I was hiding it for a long time from my family. And I'm pretty sure they know that I strip because it's all of my social and stuff too. And I just don't give a fuck anymore. But I just remember, like, some of my family members, my mom's side is super conservative, like Catholic, Filipino, like go to church every day kind of thing. And they'd always like ask my sister to be like, oh, so this dancing that Steph does, like, and they're all like beating around the bush around it. And she's like, why don't you just ask her yourself? Yeah. If you're so curious. And you can't even say the words, you know what I mean? It's just it's just super ridiculous. But I mean, well, I guess in terms of with stripping as well too, it's good to have like an alias, which is obviously why you don't use the real name and stuff. How do you keep anonymous, basically?
Well, I don't have a Twitter associated with it. I don't have a Instagram associated with it. I'm only on MyFreeCams and Chatterbait, but I don't like promote it anywhere. Okay. So although I think that I need to be prepared, and I'm trying to prepare myself for the inevitable day that somehow they'll find out. Because like a lot of people can, and I've seen it online, if you search Google my username and then MFC, other videos from other sites basically like sold from MFC people have uploaded. So like even if you don't go through MFC, you can still find my face.
And people can do like reverse lookup as well, which is like terrifying.
I'm sure that somehow, you know, I think it would be naive to think that I'm totally safe in being found out. So I'm sure one day it'll happen. But right now I'm just like not putting myself way out there. Although even doing a podcast about it is kind of putting myself out there. But I feel like it's important to do. I feel like it's passionate. It's a passion of mine to make other girls feel like it's a totally reasonable career choice, and men too. And if people want to do it, it doesn't have to be so like shameful.
Yeah, you know? Like shunned upon and whatnot. Yeah. Because that happens in everything to do with sex work, right? Yeah. So, well, I'm really glad you did come on the show. Yeah. I'm like super happy that you reached out to me. Yeah, I was like super stoked about that, which is awesome. But we do have quite a bit of questions that I asked my Instagram and Facebook. Okay. So I guess we'll kind of go into that. As you can see, it took up more than half the page over here. So I guess the first question is, are you able to make a comfortable living from camming? Yeah. I mean, on average, I started in February. I've probably made 15 grand. Wow. What? Yeah. That's insane. And I do it about 4 or 5 hours a day in like 2-hour time slots. And there's times where I've missed like a whole week or something because it went away or something. That's incredible. Guys, get on this. Like, I'm going to be Googling this afterwards. It's a good, like, second extra income. If you were doing it as your only income and you didn't have, like, a partner to support you in case, I don't know. That seems risky to me because it is so up and down. No consistency, right? Yeah, and if I felt, like, any pressure, like, I had to do it to make the money, I don't know if I'd be good at it because, like, I think once it gets to that, like, you're relying on it, then that can show through in when you're supposed to be acting and you can be annoyed, and it's like a job where you basically can't show that you're annoyed. Totally. So that might be hard for me. Yeah, and I think like as you said too, in terms of like desperation, I think that's important to say in any type of sex work because people can kind of see when you really need the money.
Mm.
And that can be really dangerous.
Mm.
So, like, that goes with being a sugar baby, that goes with being a
Mm.
stripper and stuff.
Mm.
Would not recommend you getting into this type of work if you need to rely on it that badly.
Mm.
Like, it can get really dangerous.
Yeah, because there's men out there that will use that to manipulate you. I mean, sometimes they're just turned off by that desperation, but sometimes they're turned on because they know they can fuck with you and, like, promise you a lot of money and then give you a little bit and then you...
Or nothing.
And then, but then,
Yeah.
like, sometimes and then you're roped in because you're like, oh, he gave me that $200 last time, and then... But I just don't have time for that bullshit, and I'm not interested in someone that's gonna fuck with me. So
no.
if you want to start by giving me money, then we can talk about, like, next time you want to give me money.
Right. I guess this one doesn't apply, but it says, I want clips or clips for sale. Are you familiar with those sites at all?
Clips?
Yeah.
No, although I do email my videos that I have, and if they don't want to join MFC in order to get a video, they could PayPal me. So
And you have private Snapchat as well, too, and like Kik and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Sidebar. I guess that is more like your own thing.
Yeah.
People you meet on the campsites, and then you're like, well, we can extend to these channels as well.
Yeah, it's basically like I offer it kind of like to see more of my personal life.
Right.
Or if they want daily pictures, I give daily pictures. Oh. And I do a lot of like dirty talk or like dirty talk until they come, like chatting back and forth.
So it's more like accessible that way.
Yeah, and it's just more like how to reach me like throughout the day if you want a like dirty picture like right now. I like to do that in my Snapchat, and I charge a little bit more for them to be like, give me a picture right now. And I just think it's kind of fun. I get a rush from it to be like, oh my god, like take a picture under the table or something.
Exhibitionisty.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, and
that's so cool.
So yeah, that's just like how they can keep in touch with me kind of daily, and then I send them like little dirty pictures every now and then and some small videos and stuff.
How you keep them reeled in, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
At what point do you offer those channels to, I guess, your fans? Do they have to be contributing to you or like giving you a number of tokens to do that? Or like do they have to be like a long-term regular to be like, hey, here's my Kik, or hey, here's my private Snapchat?
No, they just have to pay for it.
Oh,
so
sweet.
It's 300 tokens to have my Snapchat for 3 months, or 1,011 tokens to have it, no, 1,111, like 1111, tokens to have it for a lifetime.
Wow.
Or like the equivalent of PayPal, so $15 or $50 to have it for lifetime, and yeah, that's all they have to do.
That's so cool.
And so I take off like the location search on my Snapchat and everything because it is accessible to everyone if I don't even know them or trust them yet. And I really want people to know that like even if you think you can trust them, you don't know them, so you shouldn't really, not like from a place of fear, but like But just for your own security. Yeah.
Right?
So, yeah, I just take off my location, and even if they seem super nice and if they seem super, super good guy, still can't know where I live.
Right.
Yeah.
Safety is very important, guys.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Because some of them do get stalkery, and so I think that's important.
Can you go a little bit into that? Like, what would deem them as stalkery? Is they just asking too many questions, or like...
Yeah, or mostly, like, crossing a boundary that I set is, like, a red flag for me. So one guy kept calling me on Snapchat, like, trying to video call, which is fine, but you have to pay for it first. You can't call and then pay or something. Or, like, basically, some of them I think really don't understand that, like, any time you take of mine, whether I'm naked or not, is my time.
Right.
So you have to pay for that time. You can't pay for it once you've decided this time is good enough to be paid for, you know? And so one guy was calling me incessantly, and it was like, we haven't talked yet about doing a Snapchat video call, which is like a cum show, it's called. Like, I'll come for you, basically. We haven't talked about that yet, so you gotta stop calling me, and he didn't stop calling me, so I blocked him.
Oh my gosh.
But then that's easy enough to do. I just block him on the Snapchat and on the MyFreeCams, and then if he wants to be unblocked, he has to pay me.
There we go.
Yeah.
I like that. Deal's gotta pay.
Yeah.
So since you cam in your home, do you ever feel like you're revealing your private life to the public?
No. I mean, I do have kids. I take all the toys out of view of cams, and I don't really say anything about my private life. I mean, I guess I do, though. I say I'm a swinger, I say I have kids, I say I'm married.
But nothing too personal about your own life.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on guys camming? What do they do, and how do they look?
Guys is camming. Most of what I've seen is like a more gay audience looking for gay men, or that are acting gay, basically. And a lot of them do it from like a higher, they put their cameras higher, which I think is interesting.
To make their dicks look bigger or
Maybe.
It's like
I noticed if I put my cam higher, it just feels like you can see all my rolls and stuff. It's not a good angle.
Not flattering.
And they do that, and they mostly just jerk off the whole time. And I think it's way more difficult for guys because visually you want to like see the guy come, right? I can fake an orgasm if I need to. If that person needs to feel like they made me come and it's just not working for me, then I can fake an orgasm. There's no like visual, oh, she didn't, you know?
Right.
But with guys, like, they need to actually come. So I think it might be harder for them in
challenging.
That way. Yeah.
How do you deal with guys not wanting to pay up for a session? Block? Well, you can't just block everyone, but like...
No, I just say like, no. Like, I made the mistake of once saying that a guy could pay after because he promised to pay quite a bit, but he didn't pay after, and I really learned my lesson that like people will take advantage if you let them, and it's my job to set those boundaries, and I might lose out on a little bit of money that they might have given me, but there's so many mights. So I just like cut it off.
You're like, nah.
Yeah. And it doesn't really happen that often because they want to pay you because they want to be able to see you again.
So it is kind of like building that relationship between you guys, right?
Yeah.
So you guys don't want to fuck it up on both ends. So.
Yeah.
Do you have any female clients as well as men? Do you happen to know what the age range is or like demographic?
I only know that you have to be 19 to access that site, or 18 maybe. So other than that, I don't know about the demographic because there's just so many different types of people. And I only know about one woman in particular who says she's a woman, but I've never seen her cam. And her username is like Alexis, so sounds like a woman. And she talks like we do a lot of lesbian role play. But maybe she's into that and she's a guy. I don't know.
Who knows?
Yeah.
That's a thing, too. It's a whole other conversation.
Yeah. She's the only woman I've ever come across that's, like, interacted with me in my chat room, though.
And, like, when you are, like, chatting back, you are just, like, speaking to the camera kind of thing?
Yeah, and you can, like, private message, too. But that takes, like, time. And then there's, like... And you can also... actually request that they don't, like, you can put it on like a settings that they can't private message you unless they tip first.
Right.
So it's awesome because you can like decide what anything costs that you do. Like you can even charge money to stand up if you're like sitting down at your webcam and they're like, stand up, I want to see what you look like. You can say, tip me for that.
That's awesome.
And they might say no though. That's the hard part is like that you could say it, but they might say no and they might leave. So you never really know how to gauge the mood.
Right.
So I find that hard is like, I just try to go by my mood. Sometimes I'm in just like a super slutty mood and I kind of just want to like get things done. And so I'll make things a bit cheaper if I'm just like wanting to get it over with.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'm in the mood for like a long haul and so I'll charge more because I think I can stick it out. And yeah.
Wow. Well, it just sounds like everything is like on your terms, which is awesome.
Like there's no set price that the website makes for anything except the cost of a private and a group show. And you don't even have to do anything in those. It's up to you what you do in those.
Wow. Sounds so awesome. Like so intrigued by this. Wildest shit you've seen or been asked to do, and how do you pull a profit?
Okay, wildest
Couple questions there.
is happened in the last couple days recently. The amputee thing was new to me. I never played that type of role play. The other day, I walked back and forth. Okay, there's like a whole story.
So the look on your face where you're just like smiling.
So I was not naked and never talked about having sex in this Skype show that this person paid about $120 for about half an hour.
Oh, wow.
And so he said that he had a lot of anxiety about losing a shoe.
Okay.
So he paid me to walk back and forth and show him that I would not be nervous if I lost a shoe. And he repeatedly asked, like, what if you lost your shoe this way? And what if someone stepped on your shoe? And he said he wasn't masturbating, but I think he was. Because just, why would you pay someone to show you that particular thing?
Yeah, that's super random.
He's like, and hobble around, because I had to have, like, one shoe off and one shoe on and show him that I wouldn't find that embarrassing. And he's like, and what if you were hobbling? You wouldn't find that embarrassing? I'm like, no, I just don't. don't. And so that was hard not to laugh because I felt like it was such easy money. So I almost laughed because it was like, I felt bad for him. Like, are you sure that if this is what you're actually saying and you're really not jerking off, then like, you should just get a friend to do this for you. But but maybe he's too embarrassed to ask a friend, or maybe he was jerking off. So
who knows?
That was a weird one. And then another one was one guy wanted me to yell racial slurs at him.
Oh gosh.
That was hard because like in that moment I didn't know if I did, would the website, like, because they monitor everything, would they ban me? And if I didn't, I would lose him as customer because that's what he wanted,
right? And
that's what turned him on. So I also thought, who am I to judge if it's a kink he has and he's displaying it in like a more healthy way? So that was hard.
That's hard. That's so difficult. I feel like I just don't have a poker face. I'd be like trying not to laugh, you know? I don't think I'd be successful in that. How do you pull a profit? I guess we kind of already went over that a little bit in terms of tokens and whatnot. The best way in creating an audience?
Well, from what I hear, I have a sexy voice. So I
do indeed.
I think because it's only looks and voice, and it's only looks based on what you show the webcam, being able to talk when there's like a silent moment, because there's lots of silent moments when they're not talking back to me, is good. And what was the question again?
What's the best way in creating an audience?
Oh, yeah. So I'm just like talkative, and I try and be personable, and I try and just be like me and like real. I try not to put on a show, and they tell me that that's why I'm appealing. So I guess that's how I'm bringing in an audience. I don't really know. Like, I'm kind of just winging it every day that I do it. I don't really know what I'm doing.
Well, you seem to be pretty successful so far.
Yeah, but I think that that appeals to them is like the realness of like that I'm not
like super down to earth.
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
And so sometimes they just want to have like a conversation, and I like talking. So I don't know.
And this is why you're here too.
Yeah.
So, there we go. How safe is cam work? Has anyone ever tried to find or locate you?
No one has tried to find or locate me. And the only person that was creepy was that one guy that called me over, but he stopped once I blocked him. And
you shut that down pretty quickly.
Yeah, and no one's been like really creepy. Actually, I had like a total crush on one guy, even though I never met him.
Like one of your regular customers?
Yeah, who just paid me like a lot of attention and paid me a lot of money. And I totally started liking him. And then I think, I don't know what happened. Maybe he realized how much money he spent, because he spent probably about $1,000 in a month on me.
Oh my gosh.
And he didn't make a lot of money from what he said, so I think he realized that was a bit much, maybe. So we don't talk anymore, but yeah, that was hard because that was like an actual friend that I made, and but that's okay. It was like, it's okay for him to move on to like a real girlfriend.
Not just a fantasy, right?
Yeah.
There's actually like a Netflix documentary that I saw on like camming, or like something to do with camming, and like they actually filmed someone meeting up with one of the cam girls, and it just like was not the same because like it's a fantasy, right? And like you have to be like peppy, like the girl was like really peppy and energetic and stuff, and like she's not like that all the time. She's not in cam, but that's like her persona that she's like giving off, and then like in person trying to do that all the time is like super exhausting. And she's like, I'm really sorry, like you're one of my good friends, but like I just can't. And
that's why I think like, because I thought of maybe escorting as well, but I just don't think I could, because if I'm just not feeling in the mood, I can just turn my computer off and be like, I'm gonna go, guys, bye. And I wouldn't feel as confident to be able to do that if I'm in somebody's like physical presence and they've just paid to be with me, and I'm like, I'm gonna go, bye. Like, I probably wouldn't have the courage to say that in person, but I feel like I do have the courage to say that online, so I feel like that's where that line is for me, just personally.
It's a bit easier, I would say, online. Because I just fake everything in person. It's very tiring. What is the average pay like? Again, it varies, I would say, right? What is the most common or highly rated fetish or request that you get? Like, let me think about that.
Yeah, there's so many. A lot of them just have like a particular position that they want you to be in front of the camera.
I guess like toy play and stuff.
Yeah, there is this cool toy that you can get to link to the website.
Oh.
I do have it, but it doesn't work on one of my computers, which sucks, but it's called a Lush.
Okay.
And it's an insertable vibrator, and you can link it so that the tokens that they pay equals like a certain vibe that it gets.
Oh my gosh, that is so cool.
So some of them love that and some of them don't like it because it's kind of a gimmick. And so I make like 50 tokens gives like a 5-second vibe, and so then they put the tokens in and it automatically, like instantly, will vibrate my vibe, and they like that they have like that effect.
And that like control, I would say, right? That's really cool. And I guess last one here, any tips for newbies?
I would say invest in a good webcam because mine was about $300 off Amazon, and there were definitely cheaper options that I thought of because I didn't know how much money I would make at first. But the quality of like the picture of mine compared to other girls that I can tell have lower quality webcams is like a big difference, especially if you're doing any like up close shots.
Right.
Like a blurry pussy doesn't look as good.
No one will see a pixelated pussy, guys.
And so I would say invest in a good webcam, and you don't even need like a good laptop. I mean, you need high speed internet.
That's pretty much it, though.
It's really it. Like, it's really, really it. And I don't know, I guess just like have real conversations with yourself and people that you trust about like, if my family found out, like, would my life be over? Because you have to decide before you do it, like, are you willing to take that risk? And I guess I'm willing to take that risk, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
It's been a good risk, though.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, I guess that's it for questions, guys. Where can we find you?
Okay, so you can find me on MyFreeCams.com under the username ShaeCutie, and the S and the C in Shae and Cutie are capitalized. Yes, you can also email me at Shae, SHAE .bad, BADDD, 3 Ds, at yahoo.com if you want any like custom videos or pictures or ones that I already have, or you want my Snapchat, but please send me a PayPal in that notice as well.
Please, and thank you guys. If you guys didn't hear already, you must pay before you receive. So thank you guys so much. Thank you, Ms. Shae Cutie. So wonderful to have you on the show today.
Thanks.
You answered many of my personal questions that I had, and also the questions from the audience. And guys, this concludes episode number, I'm not sure what we are at right now, but I want to say number 8. And new episodes dropping every Sunday. Stripped by Sia on Instagram. You find me on Instagram as well, Sia Stuff. And we'll catch you guys next Sunday. Thanks so much.
Bye.
You're listening to Stripped by Sia, produced and hosted by Steph Sia, aka Kimchi, music by Ted D, photography by Ian Dabern, and graphics